but I really look forward to hopefully casting some NXZ later on in the evening. But for the time being, we move on from one Duckling to another.
Indeed, that's just kind of how our priorities go. We are here on Moondance. We're in the bottom right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We, of course, have our very own CranKy Duckling himself, the mascot, so to speak, the representative. He's a somebody. He is the very first player that we signed on our team, because we cannot give up that name. He is, of course, coming out from the land of Sydney Aba and is currently... Is he up or down?
1-1.
He better be up. Oh! Tied in this best of 3. Really? God damn. He is currently tied in this best of 3 series. He is StarDuck.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Moondance, we have the Vietnamese Terran player himself representing Platinum Heroes. It is Lamduy?
Lamduy.
Lamduy. There you go.
Well, Lamduy is how Steel says it's meant to be pronounced, but I can't. But whatchamacallit? I'm not sure if that's how it's actually pronounced.
Lamduy. I apologize, Lamduy.
There's both a D and like a J sound in that.
Yeah.
So it's like Lamduy. And every single time I'm corrected because I'm either not pronouncing the D or I'm not pronouncing the J. One or the other.
It's all good, man. It's all good. But yeah, you were saying it yourself, and I'm honestly impressed that we are here in the ace match. You know, typically I would favor StarDuck here, but at the same time, well, I also know that he's playing a lot of KS2, and I also know that PvT is unwinnable. That's
what I was gonna say. I was very surprised when you told me that it was a tie 1-1, but then I remembered. Wait, no. PvT unwinnable. This makes sense. This makes sense now.
Unwinnable, papi. Aye. Oh god, but I'm excited to see where this all takes us again. I didn't get to say it, but my condolences to Oreo. I hope that we get to see him tomorrow. He was looking real impressive in ZVT, and he was messaging me after the game. He was saying how like he just doesn't know. He doesn't know really what to do against Protoss doing that. Like he felt a little bit behind, and he has to figure out certain what timings he should be hitting, because he's a little bit in the dark about that. He's a little bit inexperienced when it comes to playing against that style. But I'm sure he'll get it. He'll get there.
Yeah, like you said, it's like riding a bike for Oreo. You know, once he gets back on the... Oh, is this me?
Ooh, it is someone. Oh
no!
Oh god. As we are getting a little bit of latency here, and we may have to resume from replay as Lamduy is having some internet issues.
Game paused.
Yep, hopefully not, but yeah, we're gonna have a bit of a pause here and hope for his latency to go down. Or not.
Yeah, we will just be waiting here to see, and hopefully things can sort themselves out. We'll just wait for our players to confirm when the lag does end up softening. Until then, yeah, I also wanted to bring to, I guess, because we have a little bit of time here, bring everyone's attention to the fact that we are missing a couple of people. Namely, we were talking about him, mate. Where's Chappie?
Asher. Oh. Where is Chappie?
Yeah, where's Asher? Is he in the chat? He's in the chat, isn't he? What's this going on?
I'll give Chappie a little bit of benefit of the doubt. I know he does have a full-time job.
True.
We were told that Asher has one as well, but like you said, he was in the chat, so I don't know what's going on, Light.
True.
Just having too much fun on OBS.
Shaking my head, Asher, shaking my head. But it looks like the ping, the latency issues have cleared up. Again, like, if worst comes to worst, we can always resume from replay. Like, we can always come back if things get a little bit out of control and he does lag out.
Yeah. If Lamduy, I'm being informed here by Steel once again, has any more issues with that, which would be unfortunate. He is going for a 3-Rax build, which is, you know, a build that does require a little bit more micro, I think. Terran player.
Yeah, this is actually a little bit crazy. This is very out of meta nowadays. I can't remember the last time we saw a Terran player. I say that. I think Honmono may have 3 racks a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, it has fallen.
Honmono, man.
It's fallen. It has fallen out of fashion.
Yeah, especially on the newer maps, especially on a map like Moondance, where I feel like sometimes we do see the 3 racks build in TVP, but if we do, the 2 racks are usually proxied somewhere.
Yeah, and I'm really concerned here for StarDuck because StarDuck is playing in the dark right now. So far, our Terran player has done a great job at hiding all of his production, all of his Marines, and keeping them hidden here from StarDuck. And if this does go unscouted, this could just end the game, especially because we're on Moondance. Moondance does have the shortest rush distance in the entire map pool.
It really does. This eBay is throwing me off a little bit, though.
It is.
he is throwing down turrets, so I'm gonna assume that StarDuck DT'd him in a previous game.
Well, I mean, he's also playing. He also doesn't know if it's a Stargate or a Twilight Council, so
that is also accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, so it makes sense here. Lamduy doesn't want to just die to any kind of random DT. Here we go. The army is going to be moving out. He's transitioning.
No, they're going to be in the middle of the map.
They are going to be. Stim just now finishes.
But so does Blink.
Exactly. This is exactly what StarDuck has to do. He has to slow this down. He has to chip away at whatever Marines he can before the army gets across the map.
This is absolutely going to test the control of both of our players here. StarDuck is playing on a bit of a knife's edge. Concussive shells, actually, not done yet. So StarDuck will have a little bit of that to work around. Lamduy, however, will stim on forward. There's a shield battery that StarDuck can retreat to, but there's nothing protecting this third base. Very curious that StarDuck took this third instead of Pocket.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, as we are getting a little bit of a pause, then again, it is very important that we don't have any latency here for our Terran player, because this is a very micro-intensive moment here with how our players control their armies.
Absolutely. It's one of the few instances where, maybe your high ping, could work into your favor if it, affects your opponent. But more often than not, it affects the player with the ping.
Oh, yeah. God. So we're just going to have to wait and hopefully things settle down. Maybe, we're going to close a couple of tabs here, as in Lamduy will, maybe just make sure no one's watching Netflix or on another device.
Yeah. Go to your neighbor's house, tell them to stop using the internet.
Oh my God!
That's a lot of MS.
Yeah, as our Terran player is letting us know that he has 700 MS right now. Jesus. Oof.
That's like, man, that's almost as much as the APM that Oreo and Akon had.
Almost
combined. We're going to be resuming right now, and Lamduy is forced to retreat, not quite getting that third base, not quite getting much of anything, which is very, very unfortunate.
Yeah, exactly. He's forced to run all the way back home. Meanwhile, we do see StarDuck transitioning. He knows how bio-heavy the army is going to be, so we already have a Robotics Bay on the way to get into those Colossus. And honestly, StarDuck, he had a really great response to this build, just being lucky enough to catch it in the middle of the map, despite the fact that StarDuck didn't know what the hell the Terran player was doing.
Yeah, one of the few times we're moving out in the middle of the map with Stalkers. Against the 3 racks, actually, worked to his favor.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, we do see our Terran player expanding. Lamduy is taking that pocket base here, which is very safe, don't get me wrong, but isn't going to be anywhere near as economic as StarDuck, who took a more forward, a more vulnerable, but also more precious base. Yeah,
that has twice the number of gas on it. Or not even twice, it has twice the number of geysers, but I think the geysers themselves also have a bit more to it. No, it's the same.
It's the same. But he has more mineral patches.
Yeah, look at that.
Meanwhile, at the same time, yeah, the Blink Stalkers are going to push on forward. They do take down the bunker for their troubles. Again, they can do this because of the 3 racks, factory production is delayed. We don't have any tanks whatsoever right now. So, yeah, StarDuck can abuse that fact.
And Lamduy is getting nothing, like you said, nothing but bio and medevacts. There is a little bit of a window of opportunity here where he can push out before StarDuck has too many Colossus and before he has extended thermal ends. But I don't think Lamduy wants to take that right now. He is going for drops instead.
Yeah, the first two medevacs are immediately going to be going across the map. The defenses here at the third base are looking quite sparse, so the potential for damage is going to be there. StarDuck has a bit of a map presence, and he has some map vision. He does have a pylon on the right-hand side. It's going to be all about his reaction time to that drop.
And so far, yeah, his army is very out of position, so he's going to have the quickest reaction times in the world as Lamduy goes for the multi-prong. I love this.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be moving on the left-hand side while moving in with the drop as well on the right. Meanwhile, the Colossus count, how many are we working with? We're working on one Colossus, but we do have extended thermal lance.
Yeah, you can definitely get away with that a little bit. StarDuck is also slowly but surely getting his gateway buffer up and running. Lamduy pulling away the entire army from the natural base. This gives him a little bit of time, but StarDuck is wise to this. He does not overextend at all, and he retreats back to a more defensible position.
Yeah, as we do see a hot pickup here, going to be going into the main base. StarDuck is moving out. I don't know if this is the right move, because at the same time he's being pushed in towards his third and his main.
Very smart decision here from Lamduy to just hot pick up and go straight into the main base instead of wasting any time trying to push into that natural anything. Very strong multi-prong attack.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, we do have an overcharge here. It looks like the shield battery will stay powered, but the robo is going to go down. At the same time, the drop towards the third base will end up being cleaned up. Barely holding onto that Nexus, but the main is getting a little bit out of hand.
Yeah, a lot of production is getting depowered. The robo bay to get taken out, so no more Colossus can be made right now. 13 probes have gone down, and so will this Nexus. But Lamduy cannot afford to lose too much bio too soon. Otherwise, StarDuck can just go across the map uncontested.
Exactly, that's the thing. He can go for a massive counterattack, but you know what? Who needs to counterattack? Oh my god, the Nexus survives on 3 HP at the same time. Lamduy is coming in, and he will get a snipe on that third Nexus.
Non-stop production coming out from this guy, and StarDuck leaves his Colossus a little bit too exposed. All of those Stalkers were back in the main base, and I can't say I blame him trying to deal with that drop. But this was such a good timing from Lamduy, taking advantage of everything being out of position. There's just one Colossus left and a handful of Stalkers.
Yeah, exactly. It's forcing a massive counterattack here from StarDuck. He's ahead in supply, but he needs everything across the map here and now. The tanks siege up just in time, and they will force StarDuck back.
And just like that, Lamduy takes such a huge economic advantage, throwing out his fourth base right now, or actually fully saturating his fourth base right now. He actually took it quite a bit earlier. And now he's just rounding off the rest of his army.
Yeah, StarDuck, I was going to say he feels pretty all in, but he is double expanding right now. He is trying to regain his presence on his side of the map. He's rebuilding his robotics bay as well, and he can go into disruptor production, so he doesn't have to force the issue. Like, he can still recover from this.
Definitely, but that's going to take a lot of time, and till then, he needs to do whatever he can to keep Lamduy in his side of the map. Very good snipe on that base. He needs to keep Lamduy in his side of the map and also try to prevent him from taking another base from here.
Yeah, exactly. That was a kill, not a cancel on that. CC, by the way, we do see him chipping away at the armory as well. We'll see if he can do it, but the tanks are leapfrogging forward. We have a lot of charge lots though, and it looks like StarDuck is making his way into the natural. We're trying to.
Yeah, I'm looking at all of these tanks, and they're both out of position and also a little bit exposed. Lamduy is slowly remedying that. And this is a beautiful card from Lamduy. Will it work?
Oh my god, I feel like StarDuck has to get the hell out of here. He cannot overstay his welcome. He does get 15 SCV kills, don't get me wrong. Zelt's even getting into the main base. This counter damage is insane, but he cannot afford to lose these Colossi.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this army light, and there's barely much of a buffer to it. The Vikings will catch the War Prism. Not too many Stalkers left after they pushed into the main.
Oh, exactly.
Or into natural.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like in the end there are just enough to take down these Vikings. So Lamduy actually throwing away a little bit of his army, a little bit of a missed rally there. StarDuck is going to back off, and he was able to buy enough time to take that economic lead. He is now ahead in workers.
Head in workers, head in bases as well, technically. But Lamduy, it feels like it doesn't really matter that much in PvT if the Terran player is behind on bases, as long as they have enough of an economy to be producing Vikings, to be producing Ghosts, to be producing whatever the hell they need, which is exactly what Lamduy has.
Yeah, but at the same time, we do see the Zelts kind of pulling him apart. At the same time, StarDuck tries to push up this ramp, but the tanks were ready and waiting for him, taking a lot of tank shots to the face, and the Zelts are eventually going to get cleaned up.
Like so. One button. He is Lamduy, I mean.
Yeah, he hasn't started to... Oh, I mean, the armory was destroyed.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little bit vulnerable there outside the natural base, and it did go down, so 2-2 is going to be heavily delayed. Meanwhile, oh my god, we have 2 starports on the way.
Huh. That's...
They're not building.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I know Sky Terran is pretty good. I mean, this Liberator's very good, but, I don't know, it feels a little too early for that. Seems a little excessive.
Yeah, I mean, switching to Liberators would be amazing if he can pull it off. Meanwhile, StarDuck is overextending right now. We do have one Nova going off!
Oh, catching a couple of units, but not enough, it seems! Oh. That Nova, however, was absolutely beautiful. It catches such a large chunk of Lamduy's army.
Jesus Christ, StarDuck was almost punished for overstaying his welcome. He barely had anything across the map, but disruptors are all he needed. They are the great equalizer. He even kept all of them alive.
All of them?
We lost one.
Oh, okay. But I mean, one disruptor, that's basically like 0 disruptors, right?
True. That's how the math works on disruptors, mate. They're crazy like that.
They do not abide by your laws. Hey, Lamduy just trying to get as much of an arc as possible. Beautiful snipe on that disruptor though, just before all of his ghosts would have went down.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, we still have a couple more disruptors. How good is the target fire going to be? The Nova is going to go up and it will connect.
A very nice chunk of army, and that's another really good chunk of army as well, catching a couple of ghosts with them. Lamduy has not thrown down that many EMPs, which I hope Ping's not to blame for that.
Yeah, I hope so either. I just noticed that he really hasn't been going for any EMPs whatsoever. I mean, hasn't even like missed them. So he just, I don't think that's a Ping thing. I don't know. But I don't know if you just noticed. Yeah, Lamduy, he just lost a bunch of his Vikings. They were target fired by StarDuck, and now he's gone back into Colossus production.
Yeah, StarDuck is definitely at that point where he has a stable enough economy where he can play basically the counter game, if you want to call it that. He can be a bit more flexible with his tech.
Can be, but I worry because we have 4 Liberators being produced at a time here for our Terran player. And Libs, they're good against everything ground. Disruptor, Colossus, Stalkers, everything.
Yeah. I was going to say even Stalkers as well, yeah. Once you get that extended range. Advanced Ballistics, that's the name of that upgrade. And there's plenty of dead air on this map to take advantage of too, so yeah, I feel like the Liberators are absolutely going to be the key to victory for Lamduy. StarDuck is going to have to do so much to prevent a scenario like that from happening. Once they get sieged up, StarDuck has to find a different place to fight.
Yeah, we'll see if we can even see, or if that will even come to pass, because we do have a drop into the main base, and once again a massive push in towards the 3rd base location of StarDuck. The Nexus goes down immediately.
And Lamduy is sated with that. We finally see a couple of EMPs get thrown down, and those are pretty important EMPs as well. So much health was taken out from that Protoss army, but Lamduy seems to have overstayed his welcome a little bit.
Yeah, he does lose a lot of his army, but I mean, props to Lamduy because he's kept these tanks here the entire game, by the way.
Yeah,
they have not moved because of that. StarDuck, he just keeps going for these Zealot run-bys, and they find no damage whatsoever. They just haven't been able to break through the defenses of Lamduy.
Yeah, you'd think that Zealots were favored against tanks, but not when they're set up next to a planetary fortress, and not when there are 4 of them that can shell away at the Zealots before they can even reach the tanks.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see if we can get anything happen. Oh my god, another Nova goes off, does connect with the Bio Army. At the same time, Blink is now done for those deities. Oh my god!
Oh man! That was super satisfying visually, but at the same time, my Terran heart goes out to all 14 of those SCVs. I got deleted by the Colossus. A very unfortunate timing to transfer.
Very unfortunate. Meanwhile, Blink is done with these DTs, trying to go for a bit of a run-by, but once again, we have tanks and Liberators set up defensively.
And that will be enough to keep StarDuck at bay. I mean, Lamduy is starting to mine out his bases. He definitely needs to get the 6th base. But StarDuck's not letting him.
Yeah, right now he's doing a great job at containing him, but is that going to be enough? Like, StarDuck has to transition, like, to deal with these Liberators, we need to go into SkyToss.
Yeah, and it... Wait. I don't even remember what the icons for the upgrades look like, but that's ground armor that StarDuck's in, right? Yeah. For a second I was like, oh yeah, that's ship armor. No. They look slightly different.
Yeah, StarDuck's being a little bit stubborn right now as he gets bullied away by these Liberators. He's committed to going into Disruptors. And to be fair, like, this ground-based army can outposition Liberators. They are siege-based units at the end of the day. It is possible, but it's just difficult.
Yeah, this is a very mobile army that StarDuck has got, but like you said, in order to outposition Lamduy, I feel like StarDuck also needs to kind of bait Lamduy to siege up in an awkward position. Very good drop here of DTs. Can absolutely mess up the entire production of Lamduy, but Lamduy is just going for it, it seems.
Oh, he's going for it. Oh my god, but he takes another Disruptor to the face. We do see Liberators going ham on these Colossi, but more Disruptor shots go up on the retreating army.
Slowly but surely, so many ghosts are being taken out. And Lamduy can no longer go for the base trade. He has to go back home and he has to protect his production. He's already lost like 6 barracks or something like that.
He is losing everything in his main base right now. Oh my god, no!
One of the juiciest Novas I think I've ever seen. Like, Lamduy is starting to push us back a lot.
He is
a lot, actually.
I mean, he's pushing this back, but he has no ground army left. It is pure Liberator at this point, and here we go. The Blinkstalkers push on forward. They're going to be able to outposition this army, get behind the Liberators, and clean everything up.
Who needs Tempest as StarDuck when you can just blink right on top of the Liberators like that? Lamduy has 0 production left, and he doesn't have much of an army to work with either.
Yeah, exactly. Again, we do see StarDuck just taking control of the entire game. The main base goes down. The fresh 6th base goes down as well. And Lamduy has finally been broken. Now, finally, this triangular third will be broken as well.
Wow. It was standing strong for so long, right? But in the end, will be broken by sheer zealots and DTs. GG is called. StarDuck takes that series 2-1. But I was a little worried, not gonna lie. Very nicely done.
GG, well played. As you said, mate, there were moments there where StarDuck was dropping bases. Like, his bases were not surviving. it was not good, Papi. It was not good. Ay. So yeah, GG, well played in the end. StarDuck will be able to take the series barely, after snowballing a little bit and finally breaking through. And honestly, the DTs in the main were kind of what won him the game. It was able to provide a large enough distraction for him to finally take a good fight.
Yeah, there was one crack in Lamduy's armor, and StarDuck just drove a jackhammer into it. Broke him apart from within, and now he is going up to face Zane in a quarterfinals. A little bit of an avenging match here for his fallen teammate, but it's not quite the qualifier match yet.
Not yet. We're almost there. GG, well played to StarDuck. Also, my condolences to Lamduy, because I'll be honest, we saw really great purification overs, and I imagine a lot of that is because of the latency. If he was having ping issues, then splitting is something that is insanely difficult, sometimes nigh impossible, if you're lagging a little bit too much.
It absolutely is, especially with 700 MS. Something like that. It was a very close ace match, and honestly, in a different scenario, it's very real that, you know, that if a few things didn't go the same way that it did, we would be getting ready to cast a TVP now instead of a PvP.
Yeah, it could have definitely been the case. But thankfully for us, our Duckling does move on to face the Duckling sniper, the Duckling killer that is Zane. Yeah,
let's see if his streak will end here or if he is eating good tonight.